Today we discuss the difference between cousins, brothers, and, shall we say, former offenders. Hi, this is Barry, folks. A 10-minute Torah, day 4 of Teitze when you go out. Let's go to Deuteronomy, chapter 23, and start with verse 2. A mamzer shall not enter the community of Yahweh, even a 10th generation of his shall not enter the community of Yahweh. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter the assembly of Yahweh, even a 10th generation of them shall not, and a little different here, shall not ever enter the assembly of Yahweh, because they did not meet you with bread and water on the way when you came out of Mitzrayim, and because they hired against you Balaam, son of Beor, from Pethor of Aram Naharim, to curse you. But Yahweh your Elohim refused to listen to Balaam, and Yahweh your Elohim turned the curse into a blessing for you, because Yahweh your Elohim loves you. Do not seek their peace nor their good all your days forever. Do not loathe an Edomite, for he is your brother. Do not loathe a Mitzrite, because you were a sojourner in his land. The children of the 3rd generation born to them do enter the assembly of Yahweh. And then we get to verse 9 that says, when the camp goes out against your enemies, then you shall guard yourselves from every evil matter. Now then following after that are conditions for set apartness or becoming clean. More on that in a few moments. So, we're given a list of individuals here that can and cannot enter into the assembly of Yah, into the community of Yah, that is to become a part of Israel. A mamzer that is mentioned here is one that is born out of an improper relationship, specifically out of wedlock, as we would say. But even more specifically, it's about one who was born as a result of incest, or at least an adulterous affair. So this is not just two unmarried parties that happen to have a child together. This is something a little bit more grievous of a situation. Both Ammon and Moab were mamzers, born out of incest. Therefore, they're not allowed to enter into the community of Yahweh. It says, ever. Now, in a normal situation, if you want to call it even normal to any degree, shall we say a regular, more common mamzer situation, after 10 generations, it seems to have a bit of a loophole that one could then enter in. With Ammon and Moab, the Ammonites, Moabites, it doesn't seem to say, it seems to say ever they can't go in. But it wasn't because of their mamzer status. It was because of the way that they treated Israel. They refused to be helpful in any way. They were extremely antagonistic. And history throughout the written word will show that they were constantly antagonistic, always warlike against Israel, frequently seeking an opportunity to strike them. So these are, even though they're cousins through Lot, they're war parties, and they're always going to fight you. And these are the people that have no regard for Yah. They have no regard for his house, for his word, for his people, for his covenant. And they're always going to be on a fighting front against you. Yah says they're not getting in here. They're not going to suddenly make an entranceway through some appreciated loophole somewhere. They're not coming in. And there are those people in our lives that they're never for our good. They're always for your harm. And we learn to identify those people quite readily and understand, keep your distance. They're not beneficial. They're always looking for a fight. They're never going to be helpful. They're never going to seek your good, and you just simply can't trust them. We don't like to admit that there are such people, but in reality, we know who they are. However, then we come to the Edomites, and the Edomites also frequently were engaged in warfare against Israel. Esau bears the sword, and he frequently seeks a place and opportunity to use it, especially against Israel. We are commanded, however, to not hate them. It's kind of hard not to have animosity against someone who is ready to use a sword on you. The rabbis teach that the Roman church system that has been revealed as the Universalist Church is rooted in Esau. That's a connection that they make. If so, and there's a big qualifier there, if so, if that is correct, we're not supposed to express hatred or animosity according to those that are still in that system. In times past, that's what we were given to do. We came out of that system and we had a lot of angst and animosity against that system, and we threw stones, and then were angry that they threw stones back. We improperly burned some bridges that should still be in place, and we have the task now of backing up, repenting quite a bit, and trying to put boards back into a place that we set fire to. And it's an arduous process, but we're realizing there's no way for them to come to where we are. There's no way for us to have a relationship where there's enough opportunity to share what we understand if we burned a bridge. Now, if they burned a bridge, still, if possible, try to rebuild it. So that system we're not going back to. The people that are still in various aspects of that system, we can reach out a hand and we can rebuild some relationship. We're not allowed to hate them. Not even those who were formerly offensive to us, that is the Mitzrites, who held us in servitude. And maybe you feel like that there are those in various areas of your life, not just religious, where they were offensive. And they said things that were hurtful. They acted in ways that beat you down. You had issues. You may be still in a state of recovery. You could be traumatized. Don't hate them. The phrase that wounded people wound people is very, very true. And we have to understand that not everybody is seeking harm to you or abuse to you or problematic to you in their relationship with you, because sometimes they are broken themselves. And we have to realize where people are broken, they're going to hurt and they're going to spew. So Yah says, don't hate them. And after 3 generations, I can bring them in. After a period of time, I can heal the problems and I can bring them into my assembly. So if Yah has a process of bringing someone in and a plan to restore a people, we are not to lay stumbling blocks in front of them and cause problems in a rebuilding of a relationship, as tough as that may be. But then he also says, when you go out to war, the strength is not in your numbers. It's not in your knowledge. It's not in your ability to quote the Moedim and their purposes or reference how you keep Shabbat. None of that. It's about your set apartness. Set apartness is our strength. We're told to lift up the shield of faith. That shield of faith is action. Faith is not what you think or what you believe. Your belief is what you do, how you live. So when we live a set-apart life, when our walk is clean and upright before Him, that is a demonstration of our faith. That is the raising up of our shield that will guard and protect us. So it's not in the size of your congregation or how many agree with you. It's your walk before Yah that will cause your enemies to flee from before you. Hope this has been helpful for someone today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. To then, shalom.